everyone. We're here for some Week 12 FanDuel defensive analysis. How's it going, Jason?
It's horrible. Things are going horrible.
You're in a foggy mist. Are you
I
driving?
am.
Yeah.
No,
You're back. You're back. The back light is on. If you wanna.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, no, I know, but
it's not a good day.
I'm just letting you know that might create more blind spots in the car than you're prepared.
Can I just get a quick? Can I get a quick rant off?
Sure.
And this is going to be a football rant, but this is not going to be an American football rant. It's going to be a European football rant.
Oh.
And if you haven't known, obviously I'm a Tottenham fan, as you can tell by my daily attire, by the tattoo on my arm. They got eliminated from the Champions League today. Didn't even make it out of group play. And after we do these pods, I'm going to go drink about 6 or 7 beers.
Yes.
And I'm going to be professional because I'm going to pull myself together and get through these. But I am upset.
Do you hear these sounds? Are these sounds comforting for you?
No,
Jason, yes.
nothing. The only thing that can comfort me is just a big mug of beer.
Big mug?
Big mug.
Down your gullet? Like a pelican?
Yeah, like someone serves me in like a tied up white t-shirt. Like,
don't you wish you had one of those things the pelicans have where you could just dump stuff in and then it's
preferably beer and meat. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like you wouldn't even have to think about it. It's just I
know. We're so far behind.
Behind what? The eight-ball?
Evolution. We should be pelicans are ahead of us. They learned how to eat.
Yeah, pelican. Yeah. Cash game defenses. Well, this is what happens when I host. It's just a free-for-all, like a Jerry Springer show. Baltimore Ravens facing the Bengals at 4,500. What are you looking at there?
First thing, I mean, for me, obviously, with or without AJ Green, Giovanni Bernard that I saw this week, 4,500, really, really mediocre price for a top 5 defense, for a team that's, ranked 5th in takeaways this year. They've scored 7 of 10 games with 7 or more FanDuel points. 5 of those 7 have been double-digit FanDuel points. So, I mean, they've been a good fantasy defense alongside of just a good overall football defense. And then you just toss in the fact that they're, the Bengals are going to be on the road without Giovanni Bernard or AJ Green. Guys like Brandon LaFell, Tyler Boyd, Tyler Eifert are going to have to step up. Jeremy Hill, who I know we talked about a little bit yesterday. But you're just looking at this defense that's been very solid. I think 4,500, you can expect another 8+ FanDuel point game out of them. And by far, I mean, they're not going to cap you in terms of salary. So I think that's the biggest takeaway. They check off all the boxes for me this week.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward there, I'd say, in terms of them being cash. You like that price as well. You also highlighted in cash games the Seahawks defense, 4,800 against Jameis Winston, who he either looks like, a future Hall of Famer or like, Jeff Garcia. I can't decide which he is. So
Jeff Garcia, that's a good name. That's that's
Tim Rattay.
Well done.
Yes.
And the thing with me, I mean, I'm really keyed in on Baltimore this week. If for some reason you just don't want to play Baltimore, I mean, I guess Seattle's the other option here at 4,800 on the road against the Bucs. They've been a little bit banged up on the defensive side, but they've still been very solid. In terms of consistency, they've been one of the better defenses. 8 of 10 games with 7 or more FanDuel points. They're tied for the league in sacks this season with the Bills at 31. Under 5K, it's certainly reasonable. As you mentioned, it's, either we see a Florida State Jameis Winston who's, squinting at the sidelines but throwing for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, or we see one that's squinting at Richard Sherman taking one back to the house. So it's one or the other. I think it's still the opposing team total is appropriately set. I think they can get 3 touchdowns, but I also think that they can get 10 to 13 points.
So the one thing I have deducted from this breakdown is that there's a high correlation between things happening and Jameis Winston squinting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's the biggest takeaway from this podcast.
Established this. Yeah. I think that's an important thing to note going forward that, if you ever see him squinting, something's probably happening. GPP defenses, Buffalo Bills, 4,800 against the Jags. I'm guessing this is going to be similar to my breakdown on DK. Blake Bortles likes throwing interceptions off people's shoes. So, yeah.
Yes. Jacksonville, I mean, over the last 3 games, 3 turnovers per game. I mean, they've been above over 2 this season. You look at this Bills defense, they've obviously run into a bit of a rough patch, but I think facing Seattle, New England, obviously Miami, that's been a completely different offense over the last few weeks. Because, I mean, that was really when that started. I mean, Jay Ajayi, 200 plus yards, on the ground against Buffalo. I didn't really see that coming. Bills have a really good pass rush. I think that's one thing to note. If you can get Blake Bortles under pressure, you are looking at a lot of pick six opportunities, a lot of high turnover. You're looking at a really big upside for this defense. I mean, double-digit points in 4 of 10 games. Obviously, I mentioned the teams that they played of late. They're averaging still the 5th most deep FanDuel points per game. So 4,800, or a nice swerve off of Seattle, a nice swerve off of Baltimore, and I do think that they do have tremendous upside.
Certainly agree. I'm with you on that, and Bills are a pretty good team. Like, we like to joke around with Rex Ryan as sort of a joke. They're not bad.
They're really a
pretty
few
good.
plays away from being
Yeah.
7-8 win team. I'm pushing it with 8 wins, but they really are a couple plays away from being there, Mark.
We talked about, you'll get into the Saints defense in a little bit, the Titans as well. Really all 3 of your GPP defenses, like, these are teams that have been bad for a long time defensively, and like, they're kind of not anymore. And this is the time in the season where, we've seen the ups and downs, but I think generally speaking, they've kind of stabilized as not the worst,
That's
49ers. It's the 49ers, Browns, and pretty much their turn. And the Packers, it's their turn to take over as the bottom tier defenses,
It really is. I mean, we're seeing a change in pace. Obviously, every team really goes through their stretch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we saw with the Titans. I mean, Titans obviously, I think, are a surprisingly good defense in especially in their front 7. It really impresses me. I'm still not a big fan of the corners of the secondary, and I know they've been exposed a little bit over the last few weeks, but they played Indy twice, they played Green Bay, they played San Diego in 4 of the last 5 weeks. That's going to drop their pass grade, but they've been a really good rush defense for most of the season, and they're a really good rush defense in terms of actually not allowing running backs to get receiving yards and come out of the backfield and make big plays. So, and I think given the fact that Matt Barkley is going to be a check down machine this week, I don't see them really moving the ball. You look at this Titans team, I mean, 30 sacks on the season. That's behind Seattle and Buffalo. I mean, they've been very solid in that department. No Jay Cutler, no Alshon Jeffrey, no Zach Miller, Matt Barkley, Logan Paulson, Cameron Meredith, please.
Profit. That's one of those. That's one of those tweets. Matt Barkley plus Cameron Meredith plus Logan Paulson equal profit? Question mark, question mark, question mark?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Oh, gross. Yeah, I think that's pretty straightforward there. Saints at 4,300, not quite the discount on DK as you're getting here. I like this more here against this Rams team and Jared Goff, obviously in his second career start. What are you looking at here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think 4,300, obviously a cheap one. It's still the same, though, because, I mean, well, technically not still the same as, there's teams far below, but Saints are still only just 200 away from Baltimore. I mean, we talked about that comparison on the DK pod. But you look at the Saints here. I mean, rarely do we see opposing teams come into the Superdome with a team total under 20. I mean, you'd never see that. I can't remember the last time I've seen it, but a Jeff Fisher, Jared Goff led offense is going to do that. Man, so
you know what? Like, he actually didn't look as bad as I expected him to, based on them holding him out when like Carson Wentz is out here throwing, just absolute. I don't know why I want to call them sausages, but he's throwing sausage balls out there. Just
what this
terrible.
reminds me of? I'm going to make an awkward comparison.
Okay.
But if you were to ever, I've never seen, this has never happened to me, but if you were walking down the street and you saw like a 5-year-old being breastfed on the side, that was what the Rams did with Jared Goff.
It was so awkward, man. Like, What are you doing? Like that's awkwardly good. That's an
Yeah,
awkwardly
it's
good
an
comparison.
appropriate comparison.
And it gave us the appropriate like weird feeling like, oh, he just brought up like public breastfeeding and
To a
now I'm like
5-year-old.
I feel weird. Like I need to go shower, um but we can still get through this. But yeah, generally speaking, I mean, Rams still going to be a limited offense. Is that I mean, kind of what you're looking at here?
It is, and I think I like Drew Brees in this offense this week. I think they're going to fire away basically, and kind of get up to a 2 touchdown lead at some point during this game, which may or may not force the Rams to open things up a bit, and I think that kind of helps out. And the Saints have been surprisingly good in the takeaway department this year. They ranked 10th. They forced the fourth most fumbles. Obviously they struggle giving up fantasy points, but you know what? I'm not really worried, and I think there is, a good amount of upside, and they've been getting pressure on the quarterback over the last few weeks. So they've gotten a bit healthier. They've gotten a couple of pieces that they expected to make a difference at the beginning of the year that haven't played yet. They've been back over the last few weeks, and I think there's been a noticeable difference in how they've been playing.
And something I'll say that I noticed watching the Rams game, Todd Gurley doesn't look the same. And I mean, I am not willing to say he's like not good. This is really hurting me right now, but I'm not as afraid of that breakout game anymore. You know what I mean? I just feel like this is kind of a lost year. We got to pack it in here, go the normal 7-9 and head to next year because this is there's so many things going on. He's so frazzled. Like I've never seen a running back so frazzled by just
Because he knows.
he just knows Jeff Fisher's ruining his career.
He knows.
Like he literally knows, dude. It's wild. Ever since week 2, when we talked about this week 2 or week 3, whenever he scored that touchdown against the Buccaneers and he just sauntered to the sideline all depressed after scoring a touchdown, I've just never seen that before, and it has continued all season.
You see that? I just don't do that every week with me after we wrap up pods.
Yeah, that's true. But just like hands down, like an orangutan, just walking to the bed.
Yeah. I'm gonna go lay down and take a sad nap.
Yeah, like not even enough emotion for tears, just sad.
Yeah.
Anyhow, thanks for tuning in today. Hopefully we gave you some good content, #content. If you like what we're doing on the pods, give us a like and subscribe. If you want to check out this article, certainly head over to dailyfantasycafe.com. If you want to throw a comment in about, how pale I am and how tired my eyes look, you can certainly do that. If you want to make fun of Jason's soccer team, also throw that in the comments. If you know what a Palomino horse is, throw some Wikipedia at me in the comments. I'd be very interested and intrigued. Thank you. As always, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.